This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
And a good Saturday, one and all. This is Live Bet Saturday. Marc Malusis and Geoff Schwartz with you. NFL Draft out in Green Bay. We've got NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoff action, MLB baseball. Update you on, give you our thoughts. We've got 4 hours to play with right here on VSiN on this Saturday. Geoff, how are you, bud?
I'm fantastic. You know, we got a full day of sports. We got more sports tonight, and the draft, man. I'll tell you what. You know, the first and second days were tiring. As someone who does it, covers the thing full time. Today was a little bit of a respite, but obviously the Sanders thing is fresh in everyone's mind.
Yeah, we'll get into Shedeur here momentarily. Update a little bit of playoff action. Right now, Denver leading Los Angeles, the Clippers, that is, 44-40, 3:43 to go in the second quarter. If you want to take, or you're believing in the Clippers right now, they're -1.5, -125, -160 on the money line if you like Los Angeles. One NHL game that's still going on right now, and that is the Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. They are in overtime, tied up at a 3-all. Let's start with a little NFL draft. We'll get into baseball as well and touch upon the NBA and NHL playoff games that are going to get going tonight. But you mentioned Shedeur Sanders. He finally gets drafted, Geoff, after not going in round one, not going in rounds 2 and 3 on Friday night. But today was the day, and Shedeur Sanders is a Cleveland Brown.
He's a Cleveland Brown. And I still had a wager on him to be an Indianapolis Colt that I saw did not cash today. Like, I was still in my account because I thought maybe there was I just sort of sprinkled a little bit of money on different teams just in case. I had Pittsburgh, I had Cleveland, I had a little bit on the Colts. And what a wild ride, man. And look, let's talk about what happened here, right? Because I think people are going to misinterpret what happened. First of all, okay, the NFL will overlook a lot of things if you are a game record type of player, right? We see it all the time. The Deshaun Watson deal. There's a player drafted in the second round in this draft with 2 allegations against him for sexual assault. Like, the NFL will overlook it. It's not a good thing they do, Mark, but they do overlook that. So the idea that sort of they blackballed him or didn't want him to be in the NFL is just not true, right? You have to think about the prospect, okay? I think if you're honest with yourself, and there were sort of 2 camps on this, right? There was the forward-facing television people that knew they probably would get a little bit of grief if Shedeur Sanders was graded a little bit too low, and there was sort of like the film people on social media that we all know. The film people had him like 30, 40. The TV people had him 5th, okay? Like, it's a wide gulf, you know what I mean? It was more about 30 and 40. And then once you get past the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft, most players drafted are not considered to be starters immediately, right? And so you look at Shedeur Sanders. Is he the type of quarterback to want to be a backup? Is he okay just sitting behind someone else? What happens when that quarterback doesn't play well? Is there a national call for Shedeur to be the starter? You don't want that for your backup quarterback. So all those things were in play here, right? Stuff we didn't see behind the scenes. We're getting stuff reported now. But the fact is, I say this about the NFL often, if your talent outweighs your problems don't matter. When your problems outweigh your talent, then and I'm not saying Shedeur has problems per se, but very clearly the NFL rebuked him. They whatever his process was to get ready for this for the combine, for everything else, Mark, they said, we didn't like the way you did it. We're dropping you down our board. He was a 5th round pick to a team that already drafted a quarterback in the same draft.
Yeah, and Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round coming out of Oregon. A couple things. I don't disagree with anything you said. I don't think it's I think it's more a case of everything that comes along with Shedeur Sanders is why he dropped. And you mentioned as far as will he be okay being a backup quarterback? The microphone that Dion has out in Colorado. And I downplayed it going into the NFL draft. Didn't necessarily think it was to be that big of a deal. But the more that this went along, when you don't have this, you're not Andrew Luck, you're not Cam Ward. You're not those guys, that caliber talent. You're not Jaden Daniels. You're not Drake May. You're not Caleb Williams coming out of college, right? So I'm not telling you that Shedeur Sanders can't play in the National Football League. He can. And I do believe he was, I do believe he was a better prospect than where he landed. But I think it's everything else that comes along with it. And,
right.
Is there that national call, as you mentioned, Geoff, to have him be the starting quarterback if your starter is struggling a little bit? Is it too much of a distraction for your organization, everything that comes along with it?
Yeah.
In the end, though, he lands in a spot in Cleveland, and I know you've got Deshaun Watson, you've got Joe Flacco, you've got Kenny Pickett, you've got Dylan Gabriel, now you've got Shedeur Sanders in that quarterback room out there in Cleveland. Do I think that it could all work out for the best for Shedeur Sanders with the Cleveland Browns and Kevin Stefanski? Yeah, I think he can. To be perfectly honest with you, it depends on how he uses it. And I felt bad for him as it went along. You had those two clowns at Ole Miss that were prank calling him, talking about the fact that he was the New Orleans. You had stuff going on here
guys,
where in the end.
That was sarcasm. That was so cruel, man. Look, you might not like Shedeur Sanders. You might not like Dion. You might not like the way that he acts. I have no problem with it, by the way. Ego's fine with me. I do think, looking back on the process, they overplayed their hand. Publicly, yeah. I'm only going to these 4 teams. I'm interviewing with these teams and whatnot. Like, they overplayed their hand. But you might not like him, and I actually don't know why you wouldn't. Shedeur seems like he's not a bad person. He bravado. I don't know. Players have egos. It's okay. But that was so cruel, man. Like, to get his phone number and call him and tell him he got drafted. Like that it's such a mean thing to do. I hope the karma comes to those 2 kids.
Oh, karma's king. Karma will come to those 2 kids. You know that, Geoff. You can't put that out there and not have it come back to you, and it will.
They videotaped it and put it out there. Like, come on, man.
And put it out on social media, and then there are people laughing at it. Like, whatever you think about, and Geoff, you played in the National Football League. I never did, right? You were talented enough, gifted enough to be able to play in the National Football League. The commitment it takes to be a professional athlete, from the individual to the family, to the sacrifices, the hard work, to have the God-given ability to be able to, play in the NFL, to have the prospect of your name being called on draft night. Yeah. That's not to be minimized, right? So whatever, as you mentioned, whatever you think about Shedeur Sanders, and I like him. I really do. I'm going to be rooting for him in the Cleveland Browns, right? I really do. I think it'd be good for the National Football League, to see him, get humbled a little bit here to a certain extent. A big-time learning a lesson. His name still gets called. Maybe he's able to become a starting quarterback and a big-time quarterback in the NFL. That is yet to be determined. However, that's just cruel. Like, that is just mean. And anybody that finds that funny, I don't find that funny, to be honest with you. I've got a good sense of humor, to be honest with you, Geoff, but I don't find that funny at all. I think it's really sad, and it's really kind of a state of, I know we don't do this on VSiN, but it's kind of a state of where we are in a society a little bit.
It's sad that people thought it would be entertaining to record it and put it out there. Like, what did they think? Like, we're all going to be like, hey, great, LOL, you got him. Because like, to your point, like, this is a very special moment, even if the moment isn't what you want it to be, right? My draft day, look, I'll tell you quickly. So, I was drafted 7th round, pick 241. Actually, we might be there now. I'm going to actually look at where we are right now in the NFL draft, because we're approaching the end of the draft. Actually, might be over right now. Pick 241. I wasn't Shedeur, okay? I did not think that I would be drafted in the 1st round, but I thought I'd be drafted the 4th to 6th round, okay? 4th to 6th round. And the first day, it was 2 days, rounds 1 and 2, and then rounds 3 through 7. The first day, 10 offensive tackles were taken. So I was like, heck yeah, man. Like, I'm next. I know I'm next. And so I did what you're not supposed to do, right? I woke up at 5:30 in the morning on the West Coast and put the draft on at 6 a.m. and sat my butt on my parents' futon and watched the draft. Okay, I'm next. I'm next tackle. I'm like, I knew I was anywhere from 11 to 15 sort of ranked. Okay, so I'm next. 3rd round goes by, 4th round goes by, 5th round goes by, nothing. Now you start getting calls from teams that are trying to butter you up. I learned this afterwards. So you sign as an undrafted free agent. So they call you, hey Schwartz, this is happened. Dave Magazine, the Carolina Panthers. You ended up drafting me. Hey, remember I came and worked you out? I'm pushing for you. I'm pushing for us to draft you. You get like 4 of those phone calls. A scout calls you, and someone else calls you. And then eventually, the Panthers called me, pick 241. And it's what I said. It was Brandon Beede who called me. He's now the general manager for the Buffalo Bills. It was his job in Carolina in 2008. He said, "Hey, are you ready to be drafted?" And I said, "At this point, I don't even care." That's how I felt. Like, by that point of the day, right, I was done with it. Then they said, "Hey, you got drafted by the Carolina Panthers." I was ecstatic. Like, of course, like, it's life-changing. Got drafted in the NFL. And if someone would have called me in the 6th round to prank me, I would have hunted them down. I like that. Yeah. Like, and it's just like, so you don't always, your draft story a lot of times cannot be perfect, but it doesn't mean that the ending has to be terrible, right? And so I just want to explain, like, everyone falls, everyone has a different draft story, but it's so mean to like ruin his draft day by calling him like that.
Yeah, awful, terrible. I mean, you see the emotions on the players, whether it be Cam Ward in tears. I saw the video of Cam Scatterbo, who was drafted, I believe, in the 4th round by the Giants.
Yes,
the former Arizona State star, and he was in tears. It's a big time moment. I mean, for all these guys, no matter what happens, this is a big moment in their life to have their name called and be drafted into the National Football League. That is unquestioned.
It is, and so
he is Geoff Schwartz. I'm Marc. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's good. I'm glad it happened for him eventually. It didn't happen the way I wanted to, but that's life sometimes.
That is, and we'll see exactly what Shedeur Sanders does with his opportunity out in Cleveland with the Browns. He's Geoff Schwartz. I'm Marc Malusis. We got NBA playoffs. We got NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. We got baseball. We got a full round of Major League Baseball. A lot of night action as well. This is Live Bet Saturday. You're locked in right here on VSiN.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
He is Geoff Schwartz. I am Marc Malusis. This is Live Bet Saturday right here on VSiN. We kicked it off talking a little bit about the NFL draft and the drama around Shedeur Sanders eventually getting drafted day 3, and he is going to be in that very, very full quarterback room out there in Cleveland for Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns. We've got NBA playoffs going on right now. Right before the end of the first half, the Denver Nuggets leading the Los Angeles Clippers 50-48. And we had a little brawl, not a brawl, a little bit of a fight, a lot of pushing and shoving between Aaron Gordon and James Harden. Right when we were in break, this transpired. This happened. James Harden pushing Gordon. I don't know what's going to be the determination if anyone's going to get tossed from this game, Geoff. But right now, the Denver Nuggets with a 2-point lead late second half.
You can't toss anyone for this. Like, there's levels to ejections, in my opinion. And maybe regular season game in December, you want to throw guys out to prove a point and whatnot, but you can't throw someone out. You can give some technicals, obviously, the next time they get in trouble and they're out of here. But I mean, near the end of the first half, like, just assess your technicals and let them go to halftime, cool down, and get ready to play again. I'm anti-ejection, like, for the most part. I don't think it's necessary unless you do something so egregious that you got to go. You throw a punch. No one threw a punch. As you mentioned, it was more of a shoving match between grown men who were a little emotional in this big important game. But Jokic and Harden started, and Gordon and Zoo. I mean, look, Harden's probably going to get a T for he appeared to throw something that looked like a punch. Now, again, I mean, that was not really a punch per se.
Well, it looked like he was trying to figure it out. I mean, Harden looked. Oh yeah, he did look like he threw a punch. He did.
Yeah,
Harden threw a punch.
Yeah, so he
might get ejected.
He might get ejected. I'm not sure I would do that. I'm sort of anti-ejection, but he did throw a punch. It looks like. When
I first saw it, yeah. And right now, I mean, if you're, in obviously what we do here is on the betting network on VSiN, the Clippers right now are -2.5 for the game. They trail by 2, 6.6 seconds to go. They're -180 on the money line. The total in the game is still sitting at 202.5. And we've got 98 points total between these two teams with 6.6 seconds to go in the first half. Initially, when I saw the video, Geoff, I thought Harden was trying to push him and kind of missed. But then on the third replay that I saw, he clearly threw a left hand. And it didn't hit on Gordon. It kind of hit his shoulder, but clearly he threw a punch. So James Harden might get tossed from this game. I mean, the refs are looking at it right now. All three are looking at the video monitor. James Harden might get tossed. We'll find out here in short order.
It's again, I understand the emotion part of playing sports. That's why I think ejections are mostly unwarranted, right? Like this is it's emotional, right? It's the playoffs. You're at home. You win this game for the Clippers. You go up 3-1. You lose. The game's tied back up, and the Nuggets get home court again. And so I get it, but Harden can't do that. Like you can't put yourself in a situation to get thrown out. Now, obviously, I have it on mute. I don't know if you have it on mute or not as well. I have
it on mute.
I don't know what's happening. Harden, there's a camera on him. He looks like he's staying in the game. So it looks like, which is probably the best situation for all. You want your players to decide the game on the court. Jokic comes over, shoves him. Yeah, that's not a punch. I take it back. That's like a shove. Okay, he should stay in the game, hopefully.
It appears that he's staying in the game. He initially got into it with Brown. They went face to face. And then Gordon comes up. Yeah, maybe. I mean, his hand was, I don't know if that's a pusher. I don't know if that's a push or a punch. I mean, if he stays in the game, the refs are looking at it more like a push than it was a punch. And Harden is staying in the game. The Clippers are trailing by 2, 6.6 seconds to go. So I guess they called matching technicals on both of them. Is that what they called? I don't know what the official call. We'll see if Brian can maybe figure out exactly what the official call, because I have it on mute right now.
I'll look up what the official the game cast here. So they gave Christian Braun a tech. That might be it. That's what it says. Oh, they gave Jokic and Christian Braun, Aaron Gordon, all technicals. I imagine they gave some Clippers a technical foul. It's just not on the screen yet. So I would imagine they're not the only ones who got in trouble here. That game is at halftime now. The superstars are showing out, which is the Nuggets. Jokic didn't play terribly well last game. He's got 15, 8, and 3 so far. Kawhi has 9, 5, only 1 assist. Clippers just haven't shot the ball as well as they shot in game 3. So we'll see. Look, second half has been more Clippers in these games. It's just, can the Nuggets withstand that 6-minute stretch when Jokic doesn't play, end of third quarter, early fourth quarter? Like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, Geoff, I don't think they can. Yeah, I mean, I like the Clippers in this series, and honestly, I would dabble right now, and I will, in the Clippers at halftime laying 2.5. Even with everything that we just saw, and I like it. I mean, to be honest, I don't want to see fist fights. I don't want to see blood. I don't want to see anybody getting hurt. I think the NBA needs more of this, where you see a little bit of hatred, a little bit of vitriol, a little bit of anger between the two teams. Rivalries work when you talk about the association in the NBA, when you look at it historically. So I think this makes his second half even that much more intriguing from what we saw at the end of the first half. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got thrown out of the game. Harden is still in the game. They're down 2. You lay 2.5. All the Clippers need to do is win the basketball game. I think they're the better team. When you look at the conjecture of this series, have an opportunity to go up 3-1. They're only trailing by 2 at the half. I think it makes sense with the Los Angeles Clippers at the half laying 2.5.
I think it does as well when you consider everything you said. Like, so who's number 2? I mean, is Murray trustworthy enough to be number 2 for the Nuggets right now? Like, if Jokic doesn't give you a 45, Westbrook's not there tonight, right? So I would think you're probably right. Again, Harden hasn't played terribly well in 6 points so far. Probably not going to hold. Again, Kawhi only has 9 points. Clippers actually have 9 players have scored. They have a decent spread around right now. Denver has 2 points from their bench. The Clippers my quick math has 14. So, it's just, that's the difference in this game. And when you get in those moments when Jokic goes to the bench and he can't play every minute of this game, then that's when the Clippers take over those moments.
Yeah, and here's what I mean. If you're going to go out there and say, okay, I'm going to take Denver, right? I'm going to take them plus 2.5 at halftime. They're winning by 2 at the half. You're going to say to yourself, okay, well, Jamal Murray in the first half is 2 of 11, right? Played 22 minutes in the first half. He's not going to be that bad in the second half. I'm going to get what I'm going to get from Jokic. Maybe, what we saw at the end of this first half even emboldens this Denver team a little bit more. Plus, they are home, even up the series at 2 games apiece. I just think the Clippers are better. Like I went into it, and I understand there's a lot that goes into the Clippers, right? And I'm not the biggest Harden guy in the world. I do love Kawhi, however, and when Kawhi's healthy, we know that he can be a difference maker offensively and defensively. I think they're better coached, obviously, after Malone was fired toward the tail end of the season by the Denver Nuggets. I get the reason why they decided to do that. I think they're a little deeper, a little bit better, but if Murray continues to struggle shooting the ball, Denver can't win. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. They don't have enough. Like that's it. Like if he has a bad second half, like he did have a bad first half shooting the basketball, the Clippers are going to win this game going away. I would expect him to play significantly better offensively. Still, even with that being said, Geoff, I still like the Clippers to win the game.
I think you're right. Look, they're better, right? Like they're just a better team. And also, too, I think when it comes down to crunch time, they have more options. They got Kawhi, they got Harden. Like they got two, and that we often see helps you win a lot of these close games. And so I'm with you here. I think I played it with you as well. So I'm with. I mean, look, it's interesting how the minus 2.5 was cheaper than the money line, which is the same wager, correct? I'm not crazy, right? They're down.
Yeah,
2.
all you have to do is win. All you have to do is win, right? They're down 2. It's 2.5. They win the game, right? You win.
I'm not crazy, right? I mean, it's 40 cents cheaper to take a minus 2.5 for the game.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Couple Stanley Cup playoff action going on right now. Golden Knights and Wild, they're still tied at 3. They're in overtime. 6:29 to go in the extra session. Just underway. Early first period. Maple Leafs and Senators up in Ottawa. They are scoreless. Toronto leads that series 3-0. I want to tell you about the NBA playoffs. They are here, and so is the VSiN Killer Sports NBA Playoff Challenge. We've invited 15 sharp minds from the world of VSiN and Killer Sports to go head-to-head, making 38 picks each from the start of the playoffs all the way through the NBA Finals. The total of 570 NBA playoff picks, all available to VSiN Pro subscribers. Picks are locked in 1 hour before the first game each day, so you'll have fresh insights to guide your bets every step of the NBA postseason. And right now, you can get full VSiN Pro access through August 1st for just $59. Don't miss the playoff edge. Head to vsin.com/subscribe to sign up today. He's Geoff Schwartz. I'm Marc Malusis. This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It is Live Bet Saturday. Marc Malusis, Geoff Schwartz with you right here on VSiN. And let's welcome aboard Dylan Rockford. Look at this setup. MLB gambling podcast at Rock, ROCKK24 on X. Hey, Dylan, Marc, and Geoff with you. Thanks for the time here on this Saturday.
Thanks for having me, boys. Good to be with you.
Yeah, we got a lot of that.
Let's talk. Yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead, Geoff. Let's talk a little baseball.
You go.
All right, there you go. Let's talk a little bit of baseball, shall we? And let's start with some of the games that are about to get underway. And let's start with Braves and Diamondbacks gets going at 8:30 Eastern time. Grant Holmes and Merrill Kelly, your starters.
Yeah, I would kind of look towards the under in this game. Probably in the first 5, though, kind of staying away from the full game total. Both teams, Braves and the Snakes, bottom 10 bullpen in the league right now. So going to eliminate that and just kind of focus on the starting pitchers. Merrill Kelly has been a much different pitcher at home than he has been on the road. 2.0 with a 2.38 ERA, just 6 runs given up at home this year. Walks have been a problem for him, so maybe look towards a walk prop, but Snakes are first in the league in drawing walks, so they'll get on base. And on the other side with Grant Holmes, he's kind of been up and down. Walks also have been an issue for him as well, but Braves just 197 on the road. If you are an Atlanta fan, I'd feel just fine. I think you guys are going to turn it around, but at a 5.5 in the first 5, it seems a little high. My full game total came out to 8.9. So I like the full game under. I like the first 5 under as well.
Let's talk Rays at the NL West leading Padres. As long as the Dodgers don't lead the NL West, I'm going to keep mentioning that as long as I can as a Giants fan here. Padres, Rays. Have you noticed, by the way, any difference in the Rays home and away? Because obviously in that home stadium, it's a lot different than any of the major league ballparks they're going to play in outside of Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, the home and road splits for the Tampa Bay Rays have kind of been telling. I know they've won 3 in a row right now, but on the road, 3 and 4 straight up. Really not a buy on team or a bet on team for me right now. It's a little chalky right now with the Braves. I got them a little earlier in the day at minus 140. I do think they're the right side. My numbers made them a minus 160 favorite. I know from people I've talked to, people I do my podcast with, they've kind of been turned off by Dylan Cease. That makes sense. But at home, I do think he's kind of backable. They are Padres are 3-0 in his 3 starts at home, 6+ strikeouts in all 3 starts at home as well. And to be honest, I'm kind of surprised the Padres have kind of laid eggs in back-to-back starts right now with that offense. But I think this could be a nice bounce-back start for them. And like I said, Pepe he's making his first start on the road this year. I got to see it. He has been serviceable, but first start on the road against a really good offense who have laid back-to-back eggs. I think they're going to turn it around here. Padres, they are hitting 269 at home. They don't really strike out. They get on base. Padres still one of the best teams at home, 12-2 straight up. So I'd rather back them. I know the Rays winning 3 in a row right now. They might look like the hotter team, but I'm going to take San Diego here at home.
All right, how about the Pirates? They're on the road in Los Angeles tonight, taking on the Dodgers. Mitch Keller, Roki Sasaki, your starters.
Yeah, going with another total in this game. I was able to grab the opening total of 8. I took that over, even at an 8.5 right now where it sits. I would take the over. My total came out to 8.9. It's honestly, I'm fading Mitch Keller in this spot. This is his only second start on the road. His strikeout rate has dipped to just 6.4 K through 9. And on the other side, like you said, Dodgers are throwing Roki Sasaki. He's been good, but he does have as many walks as strikeouts, 7.2 per 9. His field independent is 5.15, which does suggest that trouble is coming for him. So I trust the Dodgers. They're averaging around 4.9 runs per game at home, and Pirates have quietly been playing some competitive baseball recently. 4.4 runs per game in their last 5. We also have the weather, winds blowing out in towards center field around 8 miles an hour. So I do think that should help get us over the total. I think we'll see runs here tonight. So I'm going to take a D over.
All right, let's go to the last game of the night here. The last first pitch, I believe. Marlins, Mariners, all the way in Seattle tonight. What do you got for us?
Yeah, it's the trend. I'm gonna take another under 8 here at minus 120. Maybe even look at towards team total under for the Miami Marlins. Maybe first 5 under. Luis Castillo has looked great at home this year. No more than 2 runs given up in 3 starts. He has a 2.12 ERA, 15 strikeouts. Batters only hit in 206 off of him. And for as good as the Marlins bats have looked recently, they do strike out a lot. They don't really walk. They don't really get on base. And, on the road is where I at least want to fade them. At home, I think they couldn't be a sneaky team. Coming from a Met fan, they have been a pain in my butt sometimes. But I think this could be a good spot to fade them. Castillo has looked great at home. I think he could keep them in check. So I'm going to fade the fish here. I like the full game under. Maybe look towards a team total under for the Marlins.
We're talking to Dylan Rockford on this Saturday MLB Gambling Podcast. Dylan, what about any futures here that you're dabbling into?
Yeah, one future that I really like that I've been kind of looking at the past few days, and it's going to go right back to the Pacific Northwest and the Seattle Mariners. And Andre Munoz, AL reliever of the year at plus 500. They're going to be in a lot of close games this season. Their offense, to no surprise, is no juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination. But right now, he is on pace for 58 saves this season. And what I like with him, outside of the others, who the leader is right now, and Mason Miller with the A's, they're going to be in a lot of close games. And even if he gets 45 to 50 saves this season, that means the Mariners are going to be in the postseason. They're going to be playing in October, and you could get the Mariners to make the playoffs right now at minus 145. I see minus 150s out there. So both futures I really like. I think Andre Munoz is one of the best relievers in the league.
So anything for the first month of the season that has made you change the way you wager? Are you fading teams? Like I have been betting basically the opponent team total against the Rockies every day. It's paid pretty well. Even today, they juiced up to 5.5 runs, and the Reds got 6. I mean, so have you changed any betting strategies? I mean, the Rockies are 4-22. Like, they are legitimately a really bad baseball team.
Yeah, no, they're on pace to might be the worst team we've ever seen, or at least I have ever seen. But yeah, fading the Rockies has always been profitable, especially away from cores. To be honest, not being a little biased here, but the Mets rotation has looked one of the best. Their bullpen has looked good. They have the best ERA in starting pitchers, and we haven't seen one inning from Sean Manaea, Frankie Montas, Paul Blackburn. So I've been looking at a lot of unders for the Mets. Like right now, the Mets total was 9.5 today against the Nationals. That's egregious. The Mets are no juggernaut of an offense either. Juan Soto's been struggling. Pete Alonso has looked good, but outside of that, this offense is nowhere near going to score 9-7 runs per game. So I would look towards the Mets under. Giants overs have been profitable as well at home. Wilmer Flores, it's nice to see an ex-Met do really well too. So I've been looking at a lot of Giants overs. Honestly, Angels were profitable in the beginning of the season, but just wait a couple of weeks. They're a complete fade as well. They've reverted back to the Angels' ways. Orioles, they're looking like they're struggling. Corbin Burns really hasn't looked good, in my opinion, as well. So we'll see. I think a lot of teams are dealing with injuries right now, but those are the kind of things that I've been noticing first month of the season.
You know, Dylan, I want to ask you as far as like in game, right? This is Live Bet Saturday, right? And kind of take advantage. You know, we looked at the game at halftime between the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets NBA playoffs. You could do it in the NHL. What about Major League Baseball? Is that something that you like to dabble into in terms of looking at team down early, team struggling early, the ability to come back, anything of that nature?
I usually don't live bet unless I'm like a total degen. Unless I'm at the game, I'll live bet. But when I'm not, I usually kind of stay away. But I'm looking at the games right now on the diamond. Mets are up 2-0. It's the top of the ninth. Detroit 3-1 in the second game of their back-to-back, up 3-1. There's really maybe look towards an under. It's 3-1 right now. Top 5 under you could get at plus 102. My total came out to 7.9 in that game too. So maybe look at a live under in that Detroit game because Baltimore's offense has been abysmal. First couple of weeks they've looked really good, but I don't know what's going on there in Baltimore right now. But other than that, really not much of a live better. I'm sorry.
No, all good. I mean, Dylan, last one for you. You're a huge Met fan. You got the bobblehead of Darryl Strawberry there. Have you let your fandom get into in terms of betting on Alonso to be the MVP of the National League?
It's funny, when I was looking at the American Reliever Awards, I was looking at him for MVP, and I just relaxed myself, and it's like what Stephen A. says, what could go wrong will go wrong. And as a Met fan for 29 years, I still have nightmares of Carlos Beltran looking at strike 3 down the middle in the playoffs back in the day. So I'm going to pump the brakes. It's been really good month so far, but we're going to pump the brakes. Let's see another month or two.
A long baseball
Dylan
season.
Rockford. Yeah, no doubt. Dylan Rockford, MLB Gambling Podcast. Hey, Dylan, appreciate the time tonight.
Thanks, guys.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back to Live Bet Saturday. Marc Malusis, Geoff Schwartz with you. We are a week away from Derby Day and looking for a new way to feel the rush for this Kentucky Derby. First Bet is your front row seat to the fastest 2 minutes in sports and so much more. Bet on the Derby and hundreds of other races each day at firstbet.com. That's the number one, stbet.com. New users can use promo code VSiN200 to grab a $200 sign-up bonus. Get ready. The Derby starts at firstbet.com. I'm going to have a Derby pick a little bit later on the show. There's a horse that I absolutely love, and we'll get into it. It's not going to be the betting favorite next Saturday out at Churchill Downs, so we'll hit upon that a little bit later on in the program. But, Geoff, a couple of things to update. Right now, Ottawa leading Toronto 2-0, 4:51 to go in the opening period. The Vegas Golden Knights knocked off the Minnesota Wild 4-3 in overtime. That series is knotted up at 2 games apiece, and last I checked, as far as the NBA goes, let me give you the score there.
Denver 58-54, I believe.
58-54. You are right on target. With 8:35 to go in the third quarter, the Denver Nuggets still up by 4. They led at the half 50-48. They're now leading 58-54 at the 8:35 mark of the third quarter.
Yeah, they're getting a little more contributions from other people tonight. So that's one reason that they're playing a little bit better. Clippers aren't shooting as well. Gordon's got 10, Porter's got 12, Braun's got 10. Jokic, obviously, he's Jokic. He's got 20. It's now out to 62-54. So I don't know. I don't feel great about our wager, buddy, but I think we'll be okay. Look, it's that period when he goes out of the game, right? It's when you make your run. So there's a certain.
Just get me to the fourth quarter.
So you know
get me to the fourth quarter within a couple possessions, and I'll feel good about the Clippers. That's all I want. Don't have Denver extend this lead to 8, 9, 10 at the end of third quarter. Then I'd be a little bit more nervous. If we're out looking at a 2-possession game, even if they're down 2 possessions, 9-10 minutes to go in that fourth quarter, I'm still feeling good about the Los Angeles Clippers as long as they're within striking distance. And the Clippers, Geoff and I hopped on board at the half plus the 2.5, and Geoff was right on target. You're actually getting a better price getting the 2.5 as far as compared to just the money line on the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yes, absolutely. Just that makes, again, this is just kind of like piece it out and see what you can find as a better number. So that's one way that I'll play this game with you. The other one I'm looking at too, by the way, and I did it the other day, I'm just making sure that I'm game 2 and game 3. I see that I would have hit it. I didn't do it in either of these games, and I would have actually. So the fourth quarter, I did this for the second quarter the other night. The fourth quarter, basically first to 10 points. So you basically are just taking the minutes that Jokic is not playing in the fourth quarter. And because if the game is closer, he'll take his probably normal rest. If the game is pretty wide open, he won't because they're worried about the game being too long. But when he's out of the game, the Clippers score the first 10 to start the fourth quarter, something I'm considering about taking here. We have 6 minutes left to make my mind up here. So I think that when he's out, the Clippers will use that as an advantage and trying to find ways to play when he's out.
Yeah, I can understand that. You got 2 other playoff games that get going later on this evening. 8:30 tip-off, one in the NBA. The Rockets on the road in Golden State taking on the Warriors. Golden State, I believe, is a 2.5-point favorite in that one. When you look at the Warriors, it's 2. It's moved to 2. Golden State, a 2-point favorite, minus 134 on the money line. If you think the 2-seed Rockets are going to win game 3 on the road series, tied up at a game apiece, it's plus 114. The total is 205 in the game. Anything you like later on tonight before the game gets going, Geoff, between the Rockets and the Warriors?
So I like the Warriors to win the first quarter. I often make this wager. Team back home game 3. They're going to be fired up. They're going to be excited. The reason the numbers moved is Jimmy Butler is out for tonight. So that's why the numbers moved, which isn't surprising. But you want to start fast in this environment, right? You just lost game 2. You're back home. And this is the Rockets, this young team. Like, this is their first time in this spot in Golden State. I think the Warriors start fast in this game. I might actually look to taking some player props. The player props have not been up because didn't know if Jimmy Butler was going to play or not. So I'm kind of curious where the props net out before I decide what to do there.
I like the mindset of Golden State getting off to a good start, take them, feeding off the crowd, feeding off the emotion of the crowd. I like the Rockets plus 2 to win the game. And getting, I would take them on the money line plus 116. But if you're more comfortable taking the points, without Butler, that's a massive hit when you're looking at Golden State. I think there's no doubt about it. You look at the Rockets, I understand the inexperience. They're on the road in Golden State, hostile environment, all of that stuff. Houston, the loss of Butler for the Golden State Warriors is a huge one. There's no doubt the inside-outside game when you look at Butler, and obviously when you look at Steph Curry, the greatest outside shooter the NBA has ever seen. I think the Rockets, even though I don't love it, I like it. I would take the Rockets to win Game 3 to take a 2-1 series lead. I would take them on the money line right now. It's plus 115.
You trust this team, like this young team, like on the road? And I know Butler's not playing. I get that. I just don't know if they're going to have periods, I think, where the scoring is going to be tough. I feel like in this game. So I'm concerned. I would rather take the first quarter and just be done with it and not have to sweat out the Rockets covering a game on the road in this manner. Again, I'm looking at player props now because they haven't been up yet. I can't pronounce that kid's name on the Warriors that was sick last game. I'm going to probably hammer his points over because he was sick. He had 0 points last game. I think he averages 17 a game. And he's going to, he averages 12 a game. But the last 10 games he averaged 17. He's gotten more minutes. I think he has to play well tonight. He'll get more opportunities to shoot the ball with Butler being out.
The other playoff game that gets going later on tonight, right around 10 o'clock Eastern time, and that's the Colorado Avalanche entertaining the Dallas Stars. That series, Dallas leading that series 2-1. Lange getting Gabriel Landeskog back after basically 3 years. Their captain in their last game. Dallas able to win it. You look at the Stars, they're plus 152, minus 184 on the money line for the Colorado Avalanche. The total in the game is 6.5. I would be absolutely stunned, Geoff, if Colorado does not win this game and even up the series at 2 games apiece.
I would be too, but I said that the last couple of nights and they couldn't score. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm nervous about going back to the well there. I mean, what's Dallas led for? Like 7 minutes of the entire series? They haven't led the entire series. Whatever, it's some number. I think that's exactly. Jonathan Davis, I think, put an article out on VSiN today. I have actually right here. Sorry, they've led for 71 seconds. 71 seconds. They're up 2-1. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think that this should be an opportunity for Colorado to get back out and, tie the series up at 2. Because they've been better. They just, haven't won. So maybe the 60-minute line's a way to play this game and just be done with it. McKinnon, by the way, 20 shots on goal. So if you want to take his over on shots on goal, that's a good way to do it. Maybe ladder it as well, because again, they're going to be desperate to score.
They are, and sometimes, and at some point, that comes back to haunt them, right? You mentioned it. They barely led in the series 71 seconds. That's a good piece of information. You look at Colorado. I just look at it. I think they're the better team. They rode the emotion. Dallas, I give them credit for being able to find their way back in. They're not healthy. One of their big defensemen, obviously not available in this series as it's gotten going. Colorado, a little bit more talented. And now they face their first challenge. I'd be really surprised, watching this Colorado team if they don't get off the mat. And this series goes back to Dallas with the Stars leading it 3-1. I get the point is they're struggling to score. You look at Dallas, maybe they've got a little bit of the lucky rabbit's foot going. At some point, though, you look at it, it's the more talented team. They're home. They find a way to eat, and they've been the better team in this series. They've carried the play. They just trail in the series 2-1.
They do, yeah. The Maple Leafs go up they're down 2-1 now. Score right before the end of the first period, so that's important for them, obviously, to feel good heading into intermission.
No doubt about it. So we're keep you up to date. All the MLB, all the NBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs as well, and we'll get into some NFL futures because the NFL draft, the long NFL draft, Thursday night. Round 1, Friday night, rounds 2 and 3. Today, rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7 has finally come to an end. So we'll get into some futures in the National Football League. Maybe we'll talk about Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. We'll get into that as well. He's Geoff Schwartz. I'm Marc Malusis. You're with us right here on VSiN. It's Live Bet Saturday. We got you covered for another 3 hours right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.